It's time for the deplorables and the garbage to take control of the United States. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 3rd of November. Jesus, November year's almost over already. And, of course, on Tuesday, Election Day, at the end of the day, I think this is probably the biggest election in my lifetime. I think the lies and the garbage floating around, and by both sides, listen, both sides are telling lies. This is politics, which is unfortunate. But I think the biggest things that we're hearing is the panic and the weakness of those on the left at this time. Mark Cuban talking about weak women. Tim Walz calling Elon Musk gay. The deplorable comment, which was from 2016 from Hillary Clinton. And of course, Joe Biden's big speech or big talk the other day calling Trump supporters garbage. Interesting. I think that, again, I think that we're getting, the tempers are a little bit heated. But I think you can see that this country is not the country that we all remember. I think, again, that we've become weaker. This globalization, this globalism, this communism that we are now turning into, I think is a much bigger problem, which we will talk more about later. But one of my buddies sent me an article. Economist says whoever wins is inheriting a great economy. Well, I will tell you that I think the economy sucks. I think that we are in massive amounts of recession throughout those who are not wealthy. Again, I think as I said last week, those making $150,000 a year, depending on where you live, are living paycheck to paycheck and having trouble surviving that. So I don't see the great economy. We saw the jobs number on Friday come out at 12,000. Again, listen, I don't put a lot of stock. I'm not going to criticize a lousy number that they reported right before the election. I would have thought they would have inflated it, but the jobs suck. Under any circumstances, the jobs have sucked. The 254 from last month, which is bullshit, which was revised lower, of course, we're not in good shape. And the jobs that we have are not good jobs. So we are not making the money that we were making before, but we're certainly paying much higher inflation than we were paying before. Once again, we're back on the road up. As you can see, if you understand markets at all, the 10-year notes have now gone from 3.4% to 4.4% since the rate cut of the Federal Reserve, only telling you that the banks are going to make more money once again, and you, the American people, are going to get fucked. That is exactly what has happened. That is exactly what the Federal Reserve has done, and that's what they continue to do, and have done so since 1913. Okay, so again, if you look at what's going on, that is not a good situation. The economy is not good, and whoever gets it's going to inherit a major mess. Unless you're among the upper 5% of the population, you're not in great shape. Okay, but of course, listen. Let's keep spewing the bullshit. Let's keep sending articles around. I can send you just as many articles on the other side, and of course, I don't believe in the press on either side because again, we are dominated by liberal press. But either side is, again, feeding you a line, which is not fact, okay? But what is fact is evictions are soaring across the country, okay? So if the economy is so good, why are evictions soaring? Why is debt running out of control, not only from the government standpoint, which is totally ridiculous, and of course there was a comment made, I believe, by some GOP guy that said that they could cut $2 trillion. You listen, any smart person could cut $2 trillion in debt here. The real question is, are the politicians that are grasping and stealing our money, whether they be a Democrat or a Republican, are they going to allow that to happen and stop the steal? I would doubt it. I mean, remember that we were in this Ukraine war. You don't think that politicians made money off the Ukraine war? You don't think that the lobbyists made money? Okay, you understand why Liz Cheney and the Cheneys are supporting Kamala Harris? Okay, it's about the money. It's about the defense. Okay, because there is no greater profit. There is no greater wealth made other than in wartime. Okay, so why not keep the wars going? I mean, again, you have to understand the whole dynamics of what are facts and what is fiction. Okay. Candace Owen denied Australian visa amid government concerns over Discord. Okay, well, of course, she is obviously a conservative journalist and has been very outspoken. And of course, I don't want that in the abalone and with in Australia. And of course, interesting that we're keeping people out, okay, to keep away free speech. But CNN admits that there's a signs that Trump will get a second term. The betting market suggests that Trump will get a second term. And certainly, if Harris wins, God help us, okay. America, as you understand it and know it, will be through. We will no longer have the true freedoms. We're already losing many of our freedoms as it stands. People forget the American system, the system that made America great, was tariffs, was a lot of the plans that President Trump is talking about right now. Until 1962, okay, we had tariffs and we did not have free global trade, which I am not a fan of free global trade, as you know, and I will say it again. I am a fan of the United States being an island, okay? And if we had to pay more for goods because there were tariffs involved, okay, what is the difference? Would you rather pay more for your own country, or would you rather pay less and ship it out to your enemy, China, Saudi Arabia? Okay, again, you have to make that decision. But the overall effect of cost is not as great as you might think. For example, the additional cost of an iPhone, for example, would be $50. Okay. Now, again, most of the companies give them away for free anyways, but it would be $50 difference. Okay. But again, the system that made us great was when we had total control and there were tariffs. Okay. And that ran until 1962. And of course, since 1962, our presidents have been not very beneficial to the American people. Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, okay, Jimmy Carter. I would say the only, in my opinion, the three good presidents that we had between 1962 and today: Ronald Reagan. I think Bill Clinton was good until he lied. And again, I don't care that he got laid. I care that he lied to everybody. And of course, I believe Donald Trump. Okay. I think the rest of them you can throw in a pile of shit. But that's my opinion. Again, you see there's more fear and more concern. Job openings, they call it the quit rate or the results report. There's major weakness there now. People are not willing to quit because there's not jobs available. And certainly the jobs that are available are not paying very much. Okay. And I wonder why nobody talks about the waste of the Biden-Harris administration on misinformation from the COVID. Now, again, let's be clear. Donald Trump was the one who got the COVID vaccine approved, which I'm not a fan, and I wish I had never got vaccinated. But of course, the panic was created. But they took the ball and ran with it, the Biden-Harris campaign, and wasted nearly $1 billion on false information, on all of these things. And of course, everybody, if you don't remember, you can't work here if you don't get jabbed. Again, this goes back to the entire Democratic Party right now is full of disinformation. Okay. They are not in your best interest. From Mark Cuban calling women weak if they vote for Donald Trump, to, again, the garbage comment of Joe Biden. Listen, again, you think that's so they're trying to bully you into now voting for the Democratic Party or for the left. But it appears that Trump is a solid favorite. But jobs suck. The cutting of trillions of dollars off the deficit. Listen, we have to remember that the only way that we can get the debt cut down is for you and me, the voter, to vote not only for president, but for all the offices and stay on your people, your congressmen, your senators, your local politics, because again, the system is broken. We are seeing a breakdown of the Constitution. Okay. The government was never meant, the federal government was never meant to be the largest employer in the world. But yet here we are. Okay. We have plenty of our own natural resources. Okay. We should not be paying Saudi Arabia for our oil. We should not be doing the things that we're doing. But again, it comes down to this, the story that you're sold, the bullshit that you buy. Okay. Again, you believe or you don't believe, but you have to look at the mass media. Okay. And know that this entire campaign has been at trying to take down Donald Trump, not what they're going to do for you, the American people. I have not heard what they're going to do for me within their campaign. I already know that they've pissed away more money than anybody else. I already know that they've allowed in illegals, which costs us more tax dollars. Okay, so those are the decisions that you're really voting on. Okay, it's not whether you love or hate Donald Trump. The question goes back to Ronald Reagan said it. I'm going to say it. The question's been asked: are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? If you are, then vote your pocketbook. But I can't see that many are better off. Okay, because we see lack of participation, we see massive amounts of debt. Credit card debt is through the roof. Interest rates are not coming down. They've only benefited the upper 1% with that rate cut. So think about it for yourself. Again, it's your decision to make. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horwitz. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market report right after the break. What's up, everybody? Well, again, of course, I have some sponsors for the show and always share them with you. They are brokers, and of course, we know that I have brokerage partners, and I use them, and I have other brokers, just to give you full disclosure. But the brokers I prefer for our futures and commodities, Capital Trading Group. They make our members a lot of bargains, a lot of deals, and of course, they're partners with them in a couple of products. Trader brokerage for options and equities, $10 a month flat. I don't know how you can go wrong. It saves me over $100,000 a year. And of course, our high school program, which we're trying to give some financial literacy to kids, because what we have now in this country, whether you be on the left or the right, is not very intelligent when it comes to money. So I think those are things that we need to help and take care of. And hopefully, again, and if you look at our education system, which is liberal, okay, they don't want to teach it. So what does that say to you? Okay. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, our market report right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 3rd of November. And of course, markets had a down weekish. It wasn't crazy. It was, again, it was Thursday was a beatdown. But again, you saw that shitty jobs number on Friday, which the markets didn't get hammered. But I think a lot of times things are priced into the market. But as we look across markets, I think they'll be quiet tomorrow and Tuesday, because results don't start coming out until after 10 o'clock Eastern time, when all polls are closed. So I would expect some pretty quiet trade the next couple of days. Even with the news of last week, which there was a lot of it, there wasn't a lot of movement. But in the meantime, in the major indices, we're still short the Dow. We're still flat everything else. Okay. But more than likely we'll be leaning to the short side if and when the time comes. The dollar, which we don't trade, and again, we don't trade it not because of anything, but at the cost to trade it. We would be long dollars, which they continue to be bullish. We would, and the interesting part here is we're also long the euro currency, okay, which again is obviously counter each other. One's going to have to go the other way eventually, but for now, they're both going higher from the most recent, okay. In the bonds and notes, they were long. They continue to get clobbered. Now, again, I think they're going to continue to get clobbered over a long scale, because I think interest rates are going higher. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit and a facade. But at the end of the day, when we look at the bigger picture, they're so oversold that there should be a little bit of a bounce. So that's the purpose behind being long bonds and notes. Gold pushed up to a new record high last week and then fell back. Not a surprise. I thought it was pretty predictable. In fact, on our Monday call, we said that we figured 2,800 was coming and then it would sell off. But we are short gold. We are short silver. We are also short Bitcoin, which did hit all-time new highs as well. Platinum we don't trade, but we would be short. Getting ready to get long here at some point. Copper, we would be long. But again, a lot of these you won't know until tomorrow, okay, exactly where we are. I'm just giving you the general direction. The grain markets, short corn, but we would be getting ready to get long all of them. Cattle, I only trade cattle. I'm still short cattle. I'm still long hogs. Excuse me, I'm flat hogs now. I forgot I sold them. Okay. In the natural gas, we would be long, but we're flat at right now. Crude, we're short, which obviously continues to be under a little pressure at $70 here. And again, I think you just have to recognize what is going on in the markets. Okay. And right now we're playing more the probability edge, selling overbought markets, buying oversold markets. And that's really kind of the play. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz here, and we'll be back right after our break with our market commentary and, of course, our football picks right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, I'm not going to go through the whole speech. Just tell you, Capital Trading Group for futures and commodities, TRADIER brokerage for equities and options, and, of course, our high school program. Scrolling aside and across the bottom, check them out. And, of course, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, my commentary and my football pick. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November the 3rd. And I don't know, I think we have to talk about the new paradigm, which we're watching, the switch over, the lies that we are told, the switch in direction of a free market, of a free country, which you are now watching and willingly giving it up. And I really find that to be very troubling, that we continue to basically hand over our freedom without any argument, without any fight. I mean, have you noticed that some of the conservative websites have been shut down? Have you noticed that you still can't post on certain places if you have a conservative opinion? Remember, that's your freedom. Whether you be a liberal or whether you be a conservative, it doesn't matter. At some point, if it can happen to one side, remember, there can be a shift and then it can happen to the other side. And before you know it, you have no freedom and you're living in a communist country. And I think, unfortunately, the United States of America is on the verge of becoming just that. I think that we've far given up too much. Look at the states of New York, which has no law and order, which has nothing but plenty of debt and high taxes. So if you're not making a fortune there, you can't live there. Look at California. Same story, okay, except the greatest wealth divergence in any state in the union, okay, and yet more homeless, more garbage, more theft, more crime. Look at Illinois, of course, and of course that would highlight Chicago, the murder capital of the world. Again, it's up to you. I mean, you got to vote on Tuesday, or you've already voted. But again, I would say to you that all the bullshit from both sides we're hearing, okay, I can't take it. I'm glad it's almost over. But I know, in my opinion, that if we don't do something, and it starts with the vote, okay, and if we don't change something, then I fear, now for me it won't matter, but I fear for you and my children that the free America that I grew up in will no longer exist. I think it's important to understand the freedom that you've given up so far and the freedom that you will be giving up. So the voting is on Tuesday, or you've already voted. But remember, you're really voting for a lot more than just either Harris or Trump, okay? You're voting for the future of America. And the path we are on right now is an ugly path. Just think about it this way. If these are the best two candidates you can get out of all the smart people, look at what you're offered here. Look at your last three elections of what you were offered. Okay. So, but it's got to start with a vote. It's got to start with an action. And again, if you want communism, vote for Harris. If you want a shot at a free America, vote for Trump. Pretty simple. And of course, football. Well, a couple games we like this week. We do like the Detroit Lions laying the 3 against the Packers. We do like the Dallas Cowboys. Hard to say that, they suck. But Dallas Cowboys +3. And of course, that will do it for today's show. Have a great day, everybody. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a great week. We'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update.